Down, boom, down, 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 boom, doom, bum, ba, doom, doom. I was tired of waiting, doom, but manipulation's too long. Doom, ba, boom, boom. Like on one-hour recording, doom, ba, doom. The favorite song, doom, ba, doom. So with my shopping cart empty, doom, 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 doom. I have a mouse in my hand, doom, ba, doom. And while waiting for a price drop, doom, doom, spot prices went up instead. Doom, doom, doom. If I could get me some tigers, doom, without a whole lot of pain, doom, 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 for $5 over spot, doom, then pull in some big gains, doom, doom. If you like shopping around on eBay, doom, use Baybucks in that case, doom, doom. Then click the tab that says buy it now, doom. Then take your coins and escape, doom. Good morning, fellow billionaires. This is Silver 5150 with your morning update. For Monday, August 24th, 2020. Again, I don't know why you guys put up with that. Some people don't like it, but you know what? It is a Silver 5150 channel staple. It is the freight you may or may not choose to pay when you come on board to listen in the morning for the morning update. You can always skip ahead a minute and miss it for those of you out there that do not like it. But that was my rendition, a Stackers rendition of Rupert Holmes' hit song Escape. That's a tune that's famous for telling us to be happy with what we've got, right? Well, Stackers, we are happy with what we got. But when it comes to silver, we simply want more. We just want more. M-O-A-R, more, right? So here we have 100 2020 South Korean Tigers from Comsco Mint. And I gotta say, man, these guys, Comsco, they are really on fire this year, producing a lot of excellent strikes. Okay, with the Phoenix and the Radis, of course, we had those on the show earlier this year, and then of course new Chi Woo and this new Taiga, which is, I think, is just gonna be a hit. They really knocked it out of the park with this one. Now, you know, a lot of mints have been doing cutesy wootsy stuff with their coinage. The Chinese, you know, they had the mom and the baby, Panda series that's out for 2020. And then, of course, I think the Australian mint, the Perth mint, they put out a Peatford series where they're doing, mom and baby animals and stuff. And that's always been a hit. Mamas and babies and stuff. But that's cool. I mean, but you know what? And I'm going to tell you, this coin right here at 33,000 mintage, it'll be gone soon. It really will. It'll be gone soon. I mean, it's just very well crafted. I like the way they've adopted the back end with the holographic security feature like they use on the gold coins. They've awarded it to the silver coins, which I think is more fitting. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mind the I don't know if it's a barricade or a temple or maybe a shield or something like that they have on the back of the Chi Woos and stuff. I don't mind those, but these right here just look more official, as far as coinage goes, which of course these aren't coins. Now, it's kind of strange to me because, and I might be a little off on this, it just seems that the offerings from Comsco, Komsco, come out at a little bit of a discount compared to some of his coinage cousins, maybe because it's just a round and not a coin. Is that maybe I'm off base on that? I don't know. What I do know is that I can't wait to see what the effects of these rounds, what the effects are in South Korea when I visit there. I plan on visiting there, dropping on expat, maybe a couple other people that I knew back when I was in the military and stuff. And given that I'll likely be there in South Korea during a time when currencies are in a bad way, in a lot of trouble. I don't know if you guys can see it coming, but I mean, man, they just, currencies, they're starting to get a little shaky. Now, of course, in this particular case, talking about currencies, it would be the South Korean won that this round would be up against, right? And the won, which I'm fairly certain is tied to the US dollar. I mean, sure, now these rounds right here are part of the Comsco Mint. They are from the Comsco Mint specifically for the country of South Korea. But they are denominated, of course, in clay. Not one. Let's see if we can find that right there. What does it say? Clay. This is silver. And it's really hard to pick up. Unless you just don't know where to look. Anyway, we know that they denominate these coins in clay, or these rounds in clay. I'm not going to search for it because I got stuff I want to tell you guys. But, so these are denominated in clay, not won. But with all of the shenanigans and the gymnastics you've seen going on with currencies and the stimulus and governments changing the rules on trading and all kinds of stuff, would it be too far fetched to believe that at some point the South Korean government could, I mean, just simply write into legislation the change of their denomination designation to clay instead of won? I mean, how hard would that be? Look, there's going to have to be some changes at some point. And I really don't see how silver in coin or bullion form rounds will not be a part of it. I really don't see how that's not going to be a part of it. And speaking of currencies, by the way, have you guys seen what's been happening with the Turkish lira lately? They are back down to where the lira is now 7-1 on the US dollar. And let's not forget the huge reset they had just 15 years ago back in 2005. In fact, when I was in Germany, right at the turn of the millennium, it was a running joke about how many number of Turkish lira you could get for the US dollar, which I think back then was around 620,000 Turkish lira to the dollar. And look, I'm not a mathematician or anything, but I can tell you that having the Turkish lira reset from an all-time high, meaning all-time losses for the Turkish people, from an all-time high of 1.35 million to 1 on the US dollar, down to, in the revaluation took them down to 1.34 to 1. That's right. That's more than 1 million times the valuation in that one throw. That was right around the time they were bringing the euro out heavily too. So I think that's what they were using to mitigate some of the Turkish people's losses. I don't know how that whole thing works. I'm sure the UN was involved or something, because that had to really hurt. That had to really hurt. I mean, honestly, that kind of devaluation, that had to be a painful transition for the people there at every economic level. Any idea how devastating that would be here, having our dollar devalued over 1 million times below what it was before at once? Well, it probably wouldn't happen, of course, because we're the world's reserve currency. But if it did, that would pretty much be the end of all things financial as we know it for about a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. Anyway, but you know what? Don't just look at the currencies. Look at the moves that a lot of the big guys are making. All right? The big guys. You know what's been going on last week. So let's take Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Bill Gates, Stanley Druckenmiller, the big shots out there, the big shot investors. Doesn't mean they're the ones that run the show. They're just big shot investors out there, hedge fund managers, big names. All right? Those guys aren't stupid. They may talk tough about paper assets, but all the while they've been doing that, they've been quietly moving out of paper assets and into hard money assets like these. And they're not going to buy South Korean tigers. They can't get away with buying ounces of silver, because we know Warren Buffett tried that back in the 90s, and well, he got in a little bit of trouble, and then he decided to sell at a profit. And so, it worked out for him. But he's always been in and out of silver. It's not the first time, by the way, he bought silver in any great amount. But, he just got in real quick, dabbled, and then got the heck out of there. All right? But yeah, these guys, they have been in and out of, they've been getting into hard money assets and out of paper assets for a while now. Of course, recently Warren Buffett, he bought a stake in Barrick Gold Corporation, all right, worth over $500 million. So out of silver and into gold now, Mr. Buffett is, after he called, gold a pet rock, says, gold, what do you do with it? You dig it out of the ground, and then, you refine it and you put it back in the ground, talking about a vault or something like that. Anyway, so why just, $500 million in Barrick Gold? Why would Buffett, who has like something like $90 billion, why would he only invest $500 million into Barrick Gold? Well, here's my speculation. My speculation is that it's a balancing act for Buffett. For guys like Buffett, it's a balancing act. Okay? You have to make sure that you're properly hedged, right? But you don't want to upset the market in the process. Because with the kind of money they have, Berkshire Hathaway especially, with the kind of money Berkshire Hathaway has, they have to be careful moving into another asset class, because they can move the entire global market, I think, with nearly $500 billion as the market cap. And if you guys don't know what a market cap is, a market cap simply is what the valuation of a company is when you equate their price to earnings ratio. And price to earnings ratio is basically what they value their stock at versus what they make year over year. Okay. And so the overall number comes out for Berkshire Hathaway at something like, a $560 or $580 billion market cap. So over $500 billion, right? So the idea of $500 million, in a gold company as a hedge, Mr. Buffett, he's probably expecting gold to revalue at least enough to recover 10% of his corporation's losses. And that's really all they have to do. If every other corporation falls away and Berkshire Hathaway is still standing at 10%, that means they're the baddest cat in the valley. They don't have to recover 100%. Now, sure, he has other hard assets like CSX Transportation, talking about Mr. Buffett, Warren Buffett. He has these other hard assets like CSX Transportation. And if you don't know this, a lot of the rail companies, which is CSX, they are pretty much, everything you'd want in a hard asset. They have, rails and cars and trains and engines and all that stuff, but it's also property rights and water rights and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of natural resources in owning a rail system, especially when it goes coast to coast throughout the United States. So very, very smart move on the part of Mr. Buffett. But that's his play, his big play into hard assets. And he controls a transportation network, which is not too bad at all either. But you get the general idea. Guys like him are hedging or have been hedging in hard assets in preparation for the upcoming economic reset. It's a real thing. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So we, regular people, we hedge our personal market caps with hard assets too, like with gold and silver. Now, of course, I'm biased towards silver because I'm Silver 5150. No, I'm biased towards silver, but the each his own. And I am Silver 5150. Crazy. Yes, I am crazy. I've taken it way beyond this purchasing silver. I've taken it way beyond the level of hedging and have gone all in, using silver as my savings, as my ready cash, my investments, my retirement fund, and as a speculative hedge. Yes, I admit that. Silver is a speculative hedge for me, but it's a speculative hedge that has all of the right ingredients in the pot, and it's ready to cook. It's ready to start boiling over, man. It really is. All right. So I've done this basically just to mitigate all of the global discourse and the economic distortions out there. There's economic distortions all over the place. We're going to talk about the markets in a minute. You'll see what I mean. But yes, so, against all the global discourse and distortions out there, I have hedged myself completely in silver. But that strategy isn't for everybody. All right. It isn't for everybody or anybody that's sane, to be honest with you. I don't know anybody else is doing it the way I'm doing it. And I might flame out and, fall flat on my face, but so far it looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the markets. We'll talk about how crazy I am later, but let's take a quick look at the markets right now. So stock futures right now, they are up quite a bit. Now, of course, it's the same old thing. Every Sunday, you have some senior official, in this case, it was Donald Trump, comes out, and he makes an announcement about how he, he shamed the FDA by saying that they're trying to sabotage his reelection efforts. And then they, of course, approved the use of blood plasma, I think it was, from recovered COVID patients to go ahead and start building a vaccine from that, which I guess wasn't authorized before, but now Trump authorized it. The FDA is on board, and so that's big, big news. And of course, stock futures are up pretty good, almost a full percent. The Dow right now is up about 275 points in futures trading. S&P 500 about 1/10 of that at $27. And of course, the NASDAQ is just the juggernaut carrying everything in the equities world, with these crazy valuations and these crazy earnings and stuff coming out of these big tech companies and stuff. Guys, forgive my squeaky chair. I'm going to go ahead and put some WD-40 on that later. But the important thing is that you remember that this is all a big spinning plate game. This is all a big juggling event. Everybody, they're trying to juggle all the numbers. They're trying to juggle the state of the economy, the unemployment, the jobs numbers, the unemployment claims, the stock market, the foreign policy with China, and all these things that are going on. They're trying to juggle all this stuff, and they're trying to hold it together, in time for the election, so they can show something positive for the election. But they got to make sure to hold all stuff together. Now, the dollar and the euro, of course, they were having a battle royale last week, but it looks like the euro has figured out, a nice headlock to put the dollar in. And so as a result, of course, the euro is up quite a bit, which, it gives me pause to think that precious metals are going to do pretty good today. I was thinking that we're going to have more downward movement in precious metals. I thought we were going to have, in gold and silver, we're going to have more buying opportunities. But I think those opportunities were all pretty much last week. And if we get one this week, it'll be later in the week maybe. Or maybe we'll go back and forth with the seesaw. Be down tomorrow, up on Wednesday, down on Thursday, and up on Friday. I don't know. But in any case, we have to keep a sharp eye, look out, and just try to find what we can find. All right. So the euro's up about 45 to 50 basis points. Dollar's down in deeply into the 92 handle at about 92.83. This, of course, should be good for stocks, which stock futures are doing great right now, and metals, which are doing great right now. So let's take a look at gold and silver. Gold and silver right now are kind of seesawing in and out and stuff, but they're staying, above their Friday lows. And right now, I think gold is trading at almost 1960 at 1958, $11 up, or just over 0.5% up. And then silver, of course, is up almost a full percent at 24 cents up to 26.97. All right, so this is that range that we've been in. And of course, the big numbers we're looking for are $32 in silver. And then, of course, $2,200 in gold. Now, of course, if you are a aficionado of free silver here on the Silver 5150 channel, you're looking for $30 silver, close at the end of the day. And I'm looking for 2,500 subscribers. So you guys keep that in mind. Plenty of giveaways left, but we got to reach some milestones. I'm just not going to give silver away because I'm bored. Wait a minute, I actually might. No, maybe. Anyway, but these ranges that we're in, these are managed ranges, these are managed markets, these are manipulated markets, and the prices are held to perfection for the very reason I explained earlier, and that is the election outcome. These people that are in office, they want to manipulate the economic cycle to influence the election. So expect to see a lot of distortions and a lot of manipulations and a lot of price fixing on different asset classes. It's amazing. It's amazing, how much illegality they get away with. So anyway, I think as we head towards the end of the quarter, into this week, in fact, and into the end of the quarter, which is actually going to be at the end of September, we should be looking for any deals we can take advantage of right now, because I believe the time to purchase at decent prices, silver at decent prices, I believe the time to purchase silver at decent prices is almost over. I think maybe November. We've got the COMEX contracts deadlines in September, all right, for September delivery coming due. And that's a production pinch resulting from a mining gap that took place this spring. We've got that coming. Remember, they closed the mints in the mines back in April and May, I think, of this year. And so there's a big gap there. And I think that's coming due here before the winter. I think it's coming due here in the fall. It's going to come due when everybody's trying to buy. And prices are being pushed up by demand. All right. And let's not forget, we've got third quarter economic data coming out the first part of October, which is also the beginning of the fiscal year, here in the U.S. anyway. The new fiscal year, and the general election cycle, as I mentioned earlier, in November to boot. So many things that are being thrown into the pot. I think Brexit also is in October. Good Lord Almighty! I mean, there's so much stuff that's going to put pressure on the global markets. It doesn't matter if it's equities or stocks or bonds. Doesn't matter. Treasuries, real estate, all of it is going to feel the effects of all these things that are coming up. So guys, I hope you have stocked up on your Maalox, because the roller coaster ride from here on out is going to be one for the ages, and that's no joke. All right. So let's get out there and get those deals and share them. I appreciate you guys going out and shopping. I appreciate you guys going out, finding the deals and posting them on the channel. It's very, very helpful to everybody. It really is. All right. And so, let's go ahead and do that. And let's just get as much as we can get between now and showtime, because showtime is not, it's going to be moving so fast and so violently and so rapidly, probably to the upside with silver, which is bad for buying, but good if you're already acquired. We're not going to be able to keep up. We're not going to be able to keep up. So we need to take advantage while things are slow now. And we're going to have to hold our nose on some of the prices and some of the premiums if we want to get what we want to get. Because, guys, when silver is, up a few $100s, I don't know if it's going to matter. Well, it's going to matter because it depended on how much you can get, depending on how much it costs now. But later on, when those price evaluations come in, before the dollar completely rolls over, you'll be able to take care of a lot of fixed debt, man, a lot of fixed debt, and you'll be able to buy a lot of things on the cheap that are either high ticket items that nobody can sell. You'll be able to take and roll your silver over into the currency, a ridiculous amount of currency, and buy those things that are considered out of reach for most people that don't have any silver at all, and all they have is dollars that are inflated away. And can barely buy anything. And that's the whole game. That's the whole trick of it. The whole trick is to galvanize your cash into hard cash, into hard money, super money, to use when everybody else is having trouble just keeping up. You can go out and you can completely transform, change, fix, clean up any kind of economic malaise you have in your life with just a little bit of silver. A lot more silver, of course, but a little bit of silver is all you need. Those 12 ounces I'm always talking about. So, yeah, let's just go out there and get what we can get, all right, and do that. So now, before I go, I want to address one final thing, and this is mostly geared towards all the other content providers out there. And you guys that are out there, you know what I'm talking about when I say that there's this recent advent of a series of fake trolls that are popping up in our comments. And you know they're fake. You can tell that they're fake trolls by the level of language they use and the generalities in which they speak. Their MO, their mode of operations, or their modus operandi, as it's called, is to find an old video in your library that make comments about the opening screen, calling everything stupid, and then hurling a final, poorly constructed personal insult directly at you. Then are never heard from again. This is known as drive-by trolling, which is expressly designed to discourage, right, and shame. Designed to discourage and shame members of the stacking community, or maybe even to get free silver should you try to assuage these critics. Oh, well, I can see you right now. You're a tough nut to crack, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you some free silver. Yeah, that's who knows. Whatever the case, you can tell the comments by the comments and the way they come in completely on the attack that it's kind of fake. All right. So anyway, good luck with that. You fake trolls out there. Good luck with that, because the silver community is very strong. We are on the march, and we are going to continue doing this until it makes no sense to not do it. All right? So a heads up, when you see these kind of comments in your videos, it is my belief that it's actually an organized effort by the paper asset community, possibly even the crypto community, I don't know, to silence us in precious metals from telling the truth about cash. See, that's the thing. Got to protect the cash and possibly cryptos. I don't know. I know a lot of people that do precious metals. They like cryptos too, but again, it's a different asset class, so just keep that in mind. So I say let them come. I'm just going to get louder and louder and louder. I'm here on this channel, and even though I seem to run into technical difficulties every Friday, strangely, I'm just going to continue to get louder and louder and louder on this channel. But I'm going to be honest with you. Once, silver blasts past $600 an ounce, I probably won't have to get louder, because silver is going to make more noise than anything on planet Earth at that time. I'm Silver5150 telling you that your stag is not whack, and that just 12 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's go out there and have a great week. Find the deals, share them, and stack, stack, stack. Let's make today count, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow with another morning update. Cheers, my friends.